All right, let's be honest. Have you ever seen your phone ring, stared at it, let it go to voicemail, and then immediately text the person back, "Hey, what's up?" If that sounds familiar, then you're in the right place. We're going to dive into the real psychology behind why so many of us would rather type than talk.
So, I want you to think about this for a second. When your phone starts ringing out of nowhere, what's that first feeling? Is it, oh, awesome? Or is it more like a mini heart attack? For a lot of us, that ring doesn't feel like a friendly hello. It feels like an alarm, a sudden invasion of our quiet mental space.
And here's the big idea we're going to get into. If you feel that little jolt of dread, it's not because you're antisocial or you hate people. Not at all. It's actually a sign that your brain is literally wired for a much deeper, more thoughtful kind of communication.
Okay, so first up, the anxious ringtone. Let's really dig into that feeling. Why on earth does a simple sound from our phone cause so much stress?
Well, it's because a phone call feels like an unexpected pop quiz. It's a forced performance. You could be deep in thought, focused on something important, and bam, the phone rings. And suddenly you have to drop everything and perform socially, right here, right now. There's no prep time, no notes, you're just on.
And that feeling, being put on the spot like that, it leads us right to the first big psychological reason behind all this, our need for reflection. Yeah, there's actually a name for this. It's called cognitive reflection, and it's basically just thinking before you speak. It's that little pause you take to question your first instinct, to really weigh your words before they're out in the world. People with high cognitive reflection, well, they really care about getting it right.
And this is where we see the big clash, right? Between authenticity and approval. A phone call pressures you to just say something, anything, to keep the conversation going. You're going for approval. But texting gives you the space to actually figure out what you truly think and feel. You can choose words that are real, that are authentic to you.
So the real takeaway here is that texting isn't about hiding, it's about curating. It gives you that little bit of time, that healthy friction, to slow down and make sure you're speaking from a place of truth, not just reflex.
Okay, so let's build on that. It's not just about having time to think. It's also about something really tangible, the cost of connection. We're talking about the actual energy it takes.
So, if you get off a phone call and feel totally wiped out, you might just have what's called high social sensitivity. And listen, this is not a weakness. It just means your nervous system is kind of like a high-definition sensor. It picks up on more stuff, which means social interactions, especially live ones, just burn more of your energy.
And why is it so draining? Think about it. A phone call forces your brain to process a ton of different channels all at the same time. It's not just one stream of info, it's like trying to drink from a fire hose.
I mean, just look at what's happening. You're processing the words they're saying and their tone and the emotion behind that tone, and you're trying to follow the logic of it all at the same time. That's a huge amount of work for your brain to do in real time.
And the result of all that mental juggling? You need to recover. That's exactly why you can feel so exhausted after a 20-minute call, even if you were talking to your best friend. Your brain has literally just run a marathon.
All right, so we've got the need to think things through and the high energy cost of phone calls. That brings us to the third big reason, and it's all about the power of control. We live in a world that creates this digital illusion of urgency. Everything feels like it needs a response right now. A ringing phone is the ultimate symbol of that. So choosing to text, it's kind of a quiet act of rebellion. You're pushing back against that pressure and taking control of your own time and attention. So instead of thinking of it as avoiding a call, think of it like this. First, the ringtone intrudes. Second, you consciously resist that pressure to answer immediately. Third, you take your time to choose your words carefully. And fourth, you regain control. It's not avoidance, it's a powerful act of self-regulation.
And really, this all boils down to a fundamental choice. Are you looking for external validation, that public performance of being always on? Or are you more about internal validation, feeling okay with yourself without needing to be constantly available? Texting is a tool for people who lean toward that internal validation.
Which brings us to our final and I think most important point, peace over performance. So what does this all really say about you?
Look at it this way. When you choose to text, you're not trying to give people less of you. You're choosing to give them the best version of you, the best version of your thoughts, not the most hurried one.
And that's the core choice, isn't it? On one side, you have performance, reacting to every social demand. On the other, you have peace, protecting your own mental space. You're choosing clarity, that thoughtful communication, over the unfiltered noise of a live conversation. So,
The next time you let that call go to voicemail and pick up your phone to type instead, please don't feel a shred of guilt. Recognize that preference for what it really is. It's a sign that you're grounded, that you're self-aware, and that you're emotionally intelligent. And I want to leave you with this one last question to think about. Every time you choose silence over noise, you're protecting a little bit of sacred space for yourself. So the question is, what could you create in that silence you protect?